Now this walk begins at Kithurst Hill car park, which is on the South Downs Way, and it takes us down the hill. I'll show you that now. Kithurst Meadow, which is managed by the South Downs National Park Authority and Butterfly Conservation. Kithurst Meadow. Bit too early for the butterflies, I'm afraid. Now we enter a woodland section as we proceed down the north face of the downs. Mainly hazel and a few beech. The early morning sun is coming through as we proceed down this quite steep stretch of pathway. It's very dark inside the larch wood, but there is some light coming through from the morning sun. Somebody's put a big barrier there, perhaps to stop vehicles climbing up the hill, or maybe even motorbikes, who knows. We can hear the wood pigeons calling. Now we've reached the bottom of the escarpment and we can see the downs going off to the west. A field of wheat in front of us, I think, and we'll turn right here and down towards Clay Lane. Many pheasants being bred here. You can see one on the path in front. In the pathway you can see that pheasant. It'll probably get up in a minute. And there's another field of wheat. Looking east, we can see the downs and the hanger down which we have come, and there is the pathway in front of us. We've reached the road which runs from Storrington to Amberley, and we're going to cross that now and proceed down Clay Lane. Here's the gate and here is the signpost that will guide us. Just looking back now on what we have done in the last 20 minutes, coming down from Kithurst car park down the hanger to the road. Now we've reached the entrance to Clay Lane and we'll go down here for a mile or so until we get to Parham. So this is road walking now. Lovely oak trees on this pathway of Clay Lane. There's a crow flying across. Lovely display of roses as we pass what I believe is Henry's house. What a magnificent show that is. Yes, we pass Kithurst farmhouse and we've just said good morning to Julian. And over the road are some lovely piggies. Hello piggies, can you see me? Good morning piggies. Hello. There's a parley of crows ahead, making quite a disturbance. Crows seem to be prospering this year, judging by the numbers here. than just sitting there. So now we're coming towards the end of Clay Lane, and that's looking south. Now north we see the junction with the road that runs from Storrington to Pulborough, and there's a car coming round now. So now we've arrived at the entrance to Parham House and Gardens. Okay, today it's closed, but the footway allows us to walk through, and that is what we're about to do. This is a lovely section of the walk, and we'll get some views of the house as we go along. Here are the lovely beech trees that, well, they're limes. I think they're limes actually. That surround the entrance to Parham. And on the right are the silver birches. Beautiful entrance. Here's the easterly gatehouse to Parham Park. And you see a magnificent oak in front. And this one too. This is the guidance map for Parham, for the house, and a reminder that we're now in the deer park. I wonder whether we shall see deer today. Here we are still in Parham Park, but the reason I've stopped here is partly to show the later route, because you should be able to see the downs behind these lovely trees, and along the top is the latter part of the walk that we will be taking as we go back to Kithurst. What a lovely morning this is. It's so still. One of the warmest days of summer, they say. Let's see. And here we get a glimpse of Parham Church, the most beautiful church that we visited last year, and open to visitors throughout the week and on Sundays in particular. More oak trees and cedars. A lovely part of the walk, mainly beeches in this section, but a few oaks as well. And you can see the bracken growing strongly in the summer. Here's a fine view of Parham House. Surrounded by this wonderful parkland, and another large oak in front of us. And there above the house you can see the South Downs, and along the crest runs the South Downs Way, where we will be going in the next hour or so. Lovely to see the foxgloves, a sure sign of summer. Beautiful. Suckle and the wild roses beyond. How beautiful. Here's the pond, and just beyond the pond is the cricket field. There you can see the cricket pavilion. What a lovely setting for playing cricket. An ancient tree laid to rest with some fine firewood there, and over the road are some harvested logs waiting no doubt to be picked up one day and sent to the mill, or maybe used for other purposes. We're approaching the west gatehouse of Parham Park. In front are a couple of beautiful horse chestnuts and a sycamore. On the right, tall sycamore. So as we leave Parham, we turn left and follow this road down here for a short while to pick up another pathway just round the corner. So here is a junction, and we follow the road round to the right, and you can just see the turning 50. There is the turning, heading into woodland. So we pass by these holly bushes at the entrance, then into woodland, dominated I think by oak, but we'll check as we go along. Yes, there is some oak here, as well as some more holly trees. Hear the bird song. I wonder what that bird is, I wish I knew. When we get to the end of this wooded section, we find a gravel path and a house, and we turn right and go straight along here. Straight ahead. Straight ahead. Lovely to see the elderflower in full bloom. Wonderful scent, not to everybody's liking, but it's got a strangely exotic and very summery. Now, at this point, we take the bridge on the left, and in front we see the Amberley Brooklands, not to be confused with the Pulborough Brooklands, into which they run sooner or later. So now we're going to cross. So now we can see Amberley, a few houses there, and looking beyond we have the most fantastic view over the Amberley Brooklands with the grazing cattle to Bignor Hill and the hangers above West Burton. It is a magnificent panoramic here on this lovely summer's morning. There are the cattle grazing in Amberley Brooklands. And the willow warbler, perhaps we can hear behind us. Here we can see the stile which will carry us on towards Amberley. Another woodland section, not a very long one, a lot of ivy covering the trees here. Let's go on. A very small bridge and another stile to jump over as we proceed towards Amberley. Another small bridge and a stile. Muddy here as we proceed across this field. There you can see the way ahead. There's a little plank here, a little bridge to cross as we go forward. And then we'll be in a large field shortly. And there we are, there is the path ahead, with the signpost to guide us into Amberley. Here's a field of corn. Looking across Amberley Brooklands. On top of the downs you can see the walk that lies ahead of us in an hour or so. And here, looking back at the path that we've just followed through the woodland in the distance, and on the side of the brooks down there with the cattle, looking towards Rackham, I think. So having turned right as we came out of that field and walked along for about 300 meters, we enter the village of Amberley, which is one of the most picturesque. And lo and behold, here are some more walkers setting out for their morning walk. This is what a summer meadow should look like. See the blue cornflowers with the Michaelmas daisies. Amazing. And at the back, one or two foxgloves, some thistles, and lovely. And now we are at the Sportsman pub. I wonder whether they're serving anything at this hour of the morning. Let's go and see, shall we? Cyclists also making an outing today. Here's the bus shelter in Amberley, which provides a good stopping place if you can't find the pub open, for a little rest and a drink of water before proceeding. This is roughly at the halfway point of the walk, and soon we'll progress down into Amberley village proper and then up the long climb to the South Downs Way. Here we are getting into Amberley village. Look at the lovely hollyhocks on the right, the roses ahead, and soon we will be reaching the site of the Black Horse, which pub I fear has closed now for a year or so. A very pretty garden here with roses predominantly. What a lovely, lovely house that is. Here's the Black Horse. The sign is still there, but I wonder whether anybody has taken it over. Let's go round and see. It's a very good place to stop and get your refreshments, especially if the pub is closed. Excellent raspberries, strawberries and a bath bun for breakfast. Thank you. And here is the Amberley Village Tea Room, which is excellent for a cup of tea if you pass by after 10 o'clock. Thank you. And here we leave Amberley and cross the main road, which is going on to Houghton. And proceed up Mill Lane. Now, until now, this walk has been downhill and along the flat. But they say there's no gain without pain. And now we have a short climb ahead of us to get back onto the South Downs Way where we started. Thank you. This is Mill Lane, which is taking us up towards the South Downs Way as we leave Amberley behind us. There's a view looking down Mill Lane towards Amberley. You see, we have gained some altitude already. We're getting back onto the South Downs Way. Here's a lovely perspective of that pathway ahead of us. A view that you see when you look out from that pub. I want to say the Shepherd and Dog, but it's not that one, which has got a lovely garden overlooking that dry valley. What a magnificent sight. Beyond that road, which is the road to Bury, you see at the top, is Bignor Hill, which is another favourite starting point for our walks. This is where we divert or diverge from Mill Lane, following that signpost in front of us, and start to climb again the South Downs. Here's the gate in front of us, a bridle way, as you can see. Now we can see the village of Houghton, just the other side of the River Arun, which you can't see at the moment. And there's a lovely view towards Bury in the distance. And looking towards Sutton, which is at the foot of the downs, about there. This fine cow gives us a good foreground picture for Amberley, which is opening up below, looking off Amberley Wild Brooks. I think I said Brooklands before. I think it should be Wild Brooks. Amberley Wild Brooks is down there, and you can just about see a bit of the Arun. There's a fine view of Bury over there, with the spire of Bury Church quite easily seen, and you can't really see the Arun very well. Amberley Castle is down there behind the cows. Can you just about make that out? And then we got the broad sweep of the Wild Brooks looking over towards West Chorlington over there. There's the path ahead for climbing up there. Once we get up there, the hard part of the walk will be finished, and it will be time to open up the sandwich box where there's some lovely strawberries, raspberries and a Bath bun. Looking now towards Arundel Park over there.
Am I interrupting anything?
There it is, the South Downs Way, an important section with a lot of cyclists coming through today and hikers as well. Another panoramique after another 200 feet climb, maybe 100. There you can see the Arun meandering towards Amberley as it makes its way to Arundel and out to the sea at Littlehampton. You've got a good view there of Amberley Castle. I'll just focus in on it a bit. Behind the cow, immediately behind the cow is Amberley Castle. Fairly steep climb up here. Nice view of Amberley. So there's lunch, or should I say 11's, because it's still quite early. We set out at 6:30 this morning from home and started the walk at 7:15. So let's call it 11's, shall we? Getting near to the top now. There'll be some lovely views in a minute looking down towards Parham. And there is the notice board which talks about the Springhead Estate, the South Downs, one of England's finest landscapes. You can say that again. And there's a picture of a skylark there. Let's see whether we can see a skylark. Now, there's the path straight ahead. If you look at the sky, you might wonder what's happening. It seems there's some clouds, and I fear there may be a sea mist at the coast, or what we call a fret in Brighton. Let's see as we go along. I hope not. We don't want a cloudy day in Brighton today. Thank you very much. You can just about see Parham Church there. I'm taking this now because of the risk of mist coming in. What I'm looking at now is Parham. In the distance there is Parham, where we came. You can just about see the church and the house. I just hope this mist stays off. An amazing crop. It looks like barley. It's bearded, but one part of me says maybe it's bearded wheat. I think that's a bit unlikely. Let's stay with barley, shall we? Now if you look right into the distance there, you can just see Arundel Castle. Just can you make it out on the... And there's a lovely walk there which we may do quite soon, which takes you across Arundel Park from Amberley, along the river, up the hill, down into Arundel, and back to Amberley by train. That's another lovely walk which we might do soon. Just looking around, we can see signs of the sea mist creeping in. Here's some lovely cows grazing away enjoying a good munch with their baby calves around them. How lovely. And the background there must be West Chortington, I think, or maybe Pulborough. Or maybe it's Cold Waltham or Up Waltham. I think it's one of the Walthams. Anyway, the cow doesn't really mind about that. It's just getting on with a good ducking. Excellent animal. Must include a shot. Now if you like to make a small diversion here, you can by going down that path there and then at the end turning left, and it'll join up eventually with the South Downs. Beautiful orchids along with clover and bird's foot trefoil beside the roadside. Beautiful. There's another wild orchid. Orchids. Beautiful. And there we have a good view of Parham, with the church in front and the house behind, and in the foreground we have some sheep. Some lovely sheep. Looks like they've been freshly sheared and ready to go. So that we walked all the way along there, past that house there. Glider being towed above us now, and here are some more sheep, some ewes. I think they might just have been, the ewes might have been shorn, which tells us how high we are above sea level. I'll check the map and let you know later. Have a drink of water, go on. Some lovely white campion beside the road, and I'm looking for some pink. Find some soon. Now, that's the way we've come from this path here. And if you had taken the diversion, as I mentioned earlier, and turned right at the end, you would have come out on this path here. Looking beyond that, we see once again Arundel Park, Duke of Norfolk's castle over there somewhere. Thank you. Now we're going through a short stretch of shade. A few trees here, mainly ash, I think, ash and sycamore by the looks of it, and a beach over there, and we're nearly back to our starting point. Up there, lovely ash tree and sycamore on the left. Ash and sycamore. There's the road ahead, and there's some more of the downs. Over there somewhere is Windlesham, and there is the sweep of the Downs north of Littlehampton, Worthing. Yeah, basically we're north of Worthing here and looking south towards the sea. Back where we've come, looking to the west and through that wheat field to the south. Looks like a very heavy crop of wheat there, or maybe barley. So maybe it's barley. It's got bearded, so probably barley. And there in front of us is our destination, which is also our starting point, since this is a circular walk. I hope you've enjoyed this walk, and we'll take the opportunity of going around this circuit sometime soon. Bye.